Many veterans, drugs and alcohol provide an escape from their experiences while serving our country.
And substance abuse is something that's often not talked about openly, but two men shared their stories with WSAV's Christine Quayle, hopeful that they would help others.
Two veterans, years apart with remarkably similar experiences.
Through the course of your military career, we put our bodies through a lot. You know, the whole point of the military and a lot of the schools is to push you to your limit and then push you past your limit to see that you can go that little further. But it's like a rubber band. You're stretching and you're stretching and you're stretching. Eventually something's going to break.
For some, like Robert Sensing, it happens while they're still enlisted.
You know, living through your day-to-day life, active duty military, it feeds into depression, which is what happened to me. You know, both of those things can cause people to kind of spiral out of control. Alcohol dependency, drug addiction is rampant in the military. There's drugs that are tested for and drugs that aren't tested for, and you'd be surprised how many active duty military members are using drugs.
And that's the kind of rabbit hole Sensing says he fell down.
You know, they took me out the first night, and then the next night they're like, hey, we're gonna go out again, you wanna go? And I'm new, you know, I'm 21 years old. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm trying to live my 21-year-old life. And I was like, yeah, I'll go out again. And then it happened a third night and a fourth night. At the tail end of things, looking back, the stories weren't worth it.
He says his alcohol abuse grew worse over the years, especially after he was discharged for medical issues.
I didn't want to get out at all. And so my alcohol dependency massively had an uptick.
Something other veterans say is far too common.
You lose that structure and you lose that discipline. So it just becomes that much easier to fall into that trap and not even realize you're doing it.
A trap that brought Sensing to the brink just this past year.
And July was that instigating date for me when I nearly took my own life. I left home and I posted on Facebook. You know, I did that whole thing, basically made a note to my friends and family. I had a weapon on me. I was in my car and I had cops out looking for me and they were pinging my phone. I eventually met up with the police and they brought me back home. And I'm thankful that I'm still here because I'm watching my daughter grow. Doesn't matter how bad of a day my wife and I have, anytime we look at her, it just brings joy to my face. Watching her learn new things in life or look around. Sorry, I'm tearing up just thinking about her. And I can't believe that I almost did that to her.
Substance abuse in the military not contained to just veterans who recently got out either.
Personally, I've had experience with this. I wasn't able to pull it out right away. It took me a little bit of time. And I ended up having to do it on my own because I didn't know about the resources available. And that makes it even more difficult. But eventually I was able to kick it and, you know, be able to move on. Which is why I advocate so hard now. Because I've been there. And I don't want anybody to have to suffer like I did.
Offering fellow veterans that lifeline especially important because of how unforgiving they say the transition to civilian life can be.
Once you decide to leave the military, they're kind of done with you at that point. Their transition, while they're getting better, they are getting better, but their transition programs aren't that great.
And as far as the resources that are available,
you know, you'll have 1 or 2 psychologists for an entire brigade of people, which is generally about 5,000 soldiers. So only a small fraction of the soldiers that actually need help speak up and go get help, but that's still a huge chunk of people. That's hundreds of soldiers that 1 or 2 psychologists can't really effectively manage. So you get all these people who don't get the help they need while they're in. They're getting out with drug addiction, alcohol dependency, and now they're not getting help when they're out.
11%. That's how many veterans are diagnosed with a substance abuse disorder the first time they visit a medical facility run by the Department of Veteran Affairs. And that's just the ones who choose to seek help.
Yes, there are programs to help through the VA. You can get, you know, it doesn't matter if you got medically discharged or not, you can get help with psychologists. But again, they see a huge panel of patients. You know, they're so overloaded and so understaffed that the doctors just can't keep up.
That's why Higgins says the best thing veterans can do, offer a lifeline to each other because you never know who could be in desperate need.
Buddy checks. Checking up on your friends. Hey man, how's it going? Let's go out to dinner real quick. If you haven't heard from them for a couple of days. Something simple to let that person know. Because they can be, I've been there. They can be in that situation where they're thinking nobody in the world cares. And it's easy to do.
What's harder, coming back from that edge. Still, veterans proving all the time that it can be done and it's worth it.
Because I made my life 100 times harder for the next few years than it has to be, and now I have to claw my way out and rebuild from nothing. I almost lost everything. I did lose some things, and now I'm rebuilding.
If you or someone you know is struggling with a substance abuse, you can find a list of resources at wsav.com/crisis hotline.